It's just preparing.
Yeah, lovely. Um, Good morning, and welcome to the virtual hearing on the 12th of April for the Angels Club located at the basement 25 Broadway, West Ealing, London, W13 9DA. My name is Councillor Anthony Kelly, and welcome to today's temporary event notice objection hearing. And I'll be chairing the meeting with my colleagues, Councillor Bacchini and Councillor Ball. We are today's subcommittee. We're also joined by Alison Luff, who is legal advisor to the committee, and Makisha Grant, who is Democratic Services Officer, who is clerk to the subcommittee and will be minuting the meeting. In accordance with procedure, I shall invite the applicant and the applicant's representative for the tent to present, answer any questions and call upon any witnesses. Then I'll invite those who have made representations to make them and call upon any witnesses or answer any questions. At the conclusion of the hearing, the subcommittee, accompanied by the legal advisor and committee services democratic service officer, will retire to consider its decision. The decision will be given at the end of the meeting and will be confirmed within writing within 5 working days. If the panel is unable to make a decision, it will also be notified of such within 5 working days. So what we do now is just like to introduce yourself, Bianca, and your premises, and speak to your application to have a temporary event notice. There's no time limit, and you'll get an opportunity to speak again. So don't feel like you've got to blurt everything out in one go. We're here to listen. Thank you.
Right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bianca Eilinkai. I am the applicant for the temporary event notice for Angels Club at 25 Basement, Broadway, West Ealing, W13 9 Delta Alpha. The venue is relatively very small in size, with a maximum capacity of 35 people at one time, including staff. It is situated in a mixed-use high street. On top of our premise is a 24-hour casino. The premise will operate on a guest list only basis. The application I have submitted is for a private party, which is a stag night for my brother, where Bollywood entertainers and belly dancers will be performing. We will have SIA badge holders, ensuring the guests will come and leave in an orderly manner. We have strict policies in place which promote the 4 licensing objectives, such as CCTV, SIA badge holders, Challenge 25, no drugs allowed. The security officers will ensure that the safety of the staff and guests. They will do regular checks of the exit. They will ensure that no prohibited items are brought on the premise. Also, they will ensure that only people that are on the guest list will be able to enter the premise. And most importantly, they will ensure that only 2 people at a time will be exiting the premise when they leave. The smoking area will be on the main high street, which is Broadway, as well in groups of 2 people at a time. This will ensure that no neighbors will be disturbed. The premises is not licensed yet. We are in the process of it. And we hope that being granted this 10 application will help in making a decision for the outcome of the premises license application. We have considered the fact that we are in a special policy area. Therefore, we are not open to the general public. At the moment, the alleyway is being used inappropriate. People are using it as a public toilet. There's a lot of bad behavior, to say. And the residents are not very happy about it. And they feel very unsafe to walk alone at night through the alleyway. We have managed to install CCTV and lights on the alleyway to ensure that this will give the residents a more confidence when they pass through the alleyway. I have 9 years of experience in working in the hospitality industry. I have been the license holder for 2 premises, Natchley Club and Bianca's Kitchen. Natchley Club, I have managed to get a license until 6 a.m. in the morning, proving the good management and decision-making at the time. After I left Natchley Club, I have opened my Romanian restaurant, but unfortunately, due to personal circumstances and the fact that I was unable to physically be there every day, I had to close down. After that, I was in partnership with Basha Lounge in Harrow, and again, my management skills have shown that I completely understand how to promote the licensing objectives. My personal license and trading history are impeccable. That's why I am certain that I deserve a chance to prove it. We cannot speculate and decide based on speculations only. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's very useful. Everyone can hear me. Councillor Gallant, did you want to supplement anything at the moment on behalf of the premises? Can't hear you. Sorry, Julian.
Should I do that now, Chair?
You can. You get another opportunity as well.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to say a few words now, I welcome that. Thank you.
Then you got it all in together, haven't you? Yes, thank you very much, Chair. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm speaking in support of this 10 application. I was contacted by Bianca on the 21st of March, and I actually visited the club on the 22nd of March, to put it in perspective. And I know this area very well. I also know the alleyway where the business is situated. It connects to the back area of the shops, and I believe it's actually open at all times. Now, what I immediately saw, this is a very well-planned and executed venue. It's super clean, super compact, and therefore could only ever accept very small numbers of people. Having considerable experience of licensing hearings myself, and having been a license holder and DPS in past times, I was able to put plenty of pertinent questions to Bianca and her husband, Grigore Octavian, as well. Now, Bianca comes from Harrow, where she's an experienced operator with a perfect track record. First thing I asked was why she needs to operate so late in Ealing, and she answered that she wants to entertain a particular clientele who normally come in after dinner. So the key hours of operation will be later than our normal core hours, and this should not in itself be a cause for concern. I asked who'd be coming. It's a quasi-membership-based organisation, so entry is by reservation, and door staff, SIA trained, will strictly control who can enter. There's space for very few people, and I note that this application is actually just for 30 people. I asked whether Bianca had actually engaged with neighbours, as nuisance and public disturbance are key considerations for such an establishment. And Bianca took me outside and showed me the residences which she'd contacted, asking for their views. I understand that one resident has even offered to speak on behalf of this establishment, on behalf of the application. So I also noted that there were comparatively few residents in close proximity to the venue. It is situated in a basement below shops, as Bianca's described. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not capable of creating disturbance, of course, but I'm confident that Bianca knows how to limit the sound that emanates from the club. She's got that kind of experience. I also appreciate the last 10 applications were refused. In my opinion, Bianca should have been professionally advised to apply for single date and not multiple date 10s to get the ball rolling and to test whether Angels can operate without disturbing the neighbourhood. I also appreciate that inspections were carried out on the 22nd of March and the 29th of March, both times at about 10:30 at night. And I've read Mimi Stupa's submission. They were absolutely right to check the venue and to call in the fact that music was being heard outside. I completely agree, they're doing their job. But you'll notice that there were no reports of any guests attending and certainly no sale of alcohol. So I accept Bianca's explanation that music was being played during darkness to test the sound limiters. And this is actually critical because sound moves through darkness in a different way than it moves through daylight. And 10:30, of course, is not even an hour when recorded music is a licensable activity. So in summary, I think Bianca and her husband are very capable of running this venue, and they will uphold the 4 key licensing principles. And I'd like to encourage this kind of business, serving the evening public and contributing to a healthy, animated nightlife in the borough. Now, I've got that in writing. If you want me to email it, I can email it, but I'm also happy to answer any questions that you may have for me and my view of this establishment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Gallant. So now we go to Mimi. Just perhaps introduce yourself for the purposes of YouTube, so to speak. And if you've got any questions to Ms. Alinkai, and then obviously you can make your representations.
Thank you, Joe. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mimi Stupu, and I'm representing the Noisy Nuisance team. Sorry, can you hear me? Just checking.
Yeah, just
okay.
Questions at the moment, and then we'll come to representations afterwards.
Okay, no problem. I do have a few questions further to my telephone conversation that I had with the applicant. She mentioned that the noise testing was carried out on those specific days when our officers witnessed. I just wanted to know, why were those noise tests carried out on the days that they been refused those temporary event notices? The reason why those officers attended is because I have asked them to attend and monitor the premises on the days they were supposed to carry out those temporary event notices, but as I've objected, I've requested officers to attend. So I'd like to know why the sound testing was carried on those specific days when, and I do appreciate regarding the Live Music Act and that is before 11, but I just want to remind the committee that this premises does not have a license, so the Live Music Act does not apply. They're not selling alcohol. So yeah, as I said, this is just a question. This is my first question. I do have a few questions for the applicant, but this is my first question. I'd like to know why the sound testing was carried on those days.
Okay, so noise testing on those days, Ms. Alinkai?
Yes. So basically, what we're trying to establish is how the sound is being heard from the outside on a Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, because every single day is different. Now, I've chose to that was not the only days I've tested the sound limits. I've been there on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every other day, just to see how the noise would travel through the walls or outside the premise. My husband works every day as well, and then on the days I had also lined up a few job interviews, because I want to hire experienced bar staff. So when we decided to meet, they were coming from work, so that's why it wasn't something premeditated.
Did you want to follow up, Mimi?
Sure. My second question.
Bit of V on this matter is fine, you know. Yeah, go ahead.
My second question is regarding this. When I spoke with the applicant on Friday, she advised me that the reason why they're open at that time is because she was interviewing bar staff. I just want to remind the committee that these interviews were carried out at 11 p.m. I don't know if it's appropriate to carry out a job interview at 11 p.m. or not. And that was the explanation. So I just wanted to know, why were these interviews carried out at 11 p.m.?
I think we just sort of really want to get a flavour of what was going on that evening, Bianca. You know, like
Yes, as I've mentioned before, I want to hire people that are working already in the hospitality industry. As you may know, in the hospitality industry, people tend to finish their jobs quite late. And that's why we've had the job interviews from 10 o'clock till 11, maybe. Not even. At 11 o'clock, everyone was gone. And it was just me and my husband and our dog in the premise. I've already sent to Miss Mimi Stupu a video of the inside showing that at the time when the agents were checking the premise, I was inside with my husband and my dog. And on the videos itself, it clearly shows there was no licensed activities going on. There were no members or guests or anyone in the premise. It was just myself and my husband.
Okay. Any other questions, Mimi, Miss Stupu?
I think that's it for just one more one quick question. I just wanted to know how this sound exercise or sound test was conducted, and why did it need to take so long? When our officers visited, they were on site, let's say for around 35-40 minutes. For example, when I carry out a sound test, I don't need to play music at an excessive volume for 40 minutes. I just want to know, why has it taken so long to carry out? If a sound test can be carried out within 5-10 minutes, you don't need to the music to be audible at such an excessive level, to be audible at street level. When officers park their car and approach the premises, that's how excessive it was. I was audible at street level. So I just want to know, how was this noise test carried out, and why has it taken so long, and why was there a need to be carried out every single day?
Right. The sound levels, we were trying to establish if the sound levels are going outside through the walls, because I was speaking at the time with the manager of the Merkur slots. So she would tell me when she could hear the sound of the music, when she could hear the bass of the sound of the songs. So basically, my opinion, the longer the testing, the better view of the sound limitations will that give me. Because I need to know if I have to sound proof the premise or not. I need to know what measures I need to take in order for me to be able to not disturb the neighbors.
Okay, thank you. That's all from me for now. Thank you.
You're on mute.
Councillor Kelly, you're on mute.
I'm looking at the papers, and so I couldn't find the button. Ms. Stupu, you'd like to make representations now, please? That'd be grateful.
Councillor, did you want to, Chair, did you want to take questions from the
Oh yeah. Sorry, my yeah. That's what happens when you don't have the written papers in front of you. You get a bit. Thank you, Alison, Ms. Love. Councillor Bikini has indicated. Do you have questions to?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, go ahead.
Miss Mimi, I just want to ask if you have previously applied for a premises license.
You're asking Miss Alenkai, yes?
Sorry, Bianca. Yes.
Yes. Sorry,
Have you applied for previously? Have you tried to apply for a premises license?
For this premise in Ealing, no, this is the first time.
Okay, and why didn't you apply for a premises license yet? Do you?
This is the first time because we bought the premise, we bought the lease last year in July, and we had to go through planning. We had to change the use of the premise. At the time when we did that, I personally went and knocked on everyone's door, the residents, I mean, and I've tried to explain to them the business. I've tried to introduce myself and give my phone number, my personal number to them, just in case there's any issues or any noise or anything. I'm just one phone call away. Some of the residents, actually the ones that are closest to the premise that might indeed be disturbed, are actually supporting this business, and their statements and messages are all written on the planning portal, so it can easily be checked.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Councillor Ball.
Yeah, sorry, I've got noise here upstairs. Hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just on this testing issue, wouldn't it be usual to have you or your husband, somebody that's associated with the business outside listening to the sound rather than just purely relying on the manager of the premises above?
We have done so days before, and I think even before the people came to check from the council, we were outside trying to listen and trying to measure the levels and everything. But most importantly, we are trying to establish if the noise will go through the walls towards the neighbors that are above Mercus lots.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. We've considered quite a bit here, but I want to speak to the night in question that you've applied for. So, and how it's formulated. So just give me an idea. I understand it's a stag do, so somebody's getting married, and so it's going to be a male dominated. Stag do's are for men and hen nights are for women, but that's not to say that women can't go to stag do's and men can't go to hen nights. But we can make certain assumptions. So you'll have. Is there a menu offer? If so, is it pre-ordered? And I'm not expecting stag do's. It's not necessarily food dominated. I appreciate that. So yeah, speak to me more about that night without obviously giving me the details of your client, and also what time you expect to close, and who will be the SIA. You say you'll have SIA staff, but do you know who that SIA person will be? How many SIA staff will you have? So just talk to me about the night that you're applying for.
Right. So the night would be a stag night for my brother. I've offered to hold his party at this premise. The guests are invited to come at 6 o'clock. So far, only 15 of the guests have confirmed their attendance. My brother works in the construction industry, and all his colleagues are Asian, from the Asian community. The guest will be served with a letter where I will write down the policies of our premise. No drugs allowed, no antisocial behavior, and so forth, which they will have to adhere. The SIA badge holder, I have quite a few options because having working so long in the industry, I got to know quite a few companies, and the directors of the companies are like really close friends. Over the years, we've developed a close relationship. So yes, they will send me someone that has worked with me prior, and the SIA badge holder will clearly be instructed to comply with our policies. So basically, he will have to look after the staff, the the guests. He will have to look after the alleyway as well, and making sure that there is no noise happening outside the premise or antisocial behavior. If there someone will show antisocial behavior or speaking loud, they will be asked to leave.
Thank you. That's very helpful. So now got no questions from councillors. Ms. Stupa, do you want to make representations, please? Thank you.
Sure, thank you, Chair. As I have stated in my presentation, we have objected to this tent due to the observations carried out by our noise officers. These observations were carried out on the dates for the previous 2 tents applications, which were late tents, which we have objected to as there were 5-6 days event, and we had concerns with regards to the late hours, and also there were issues with the capacity. Further to those tents being objected, we have arranged for these observations to be carried out when we witnessed the excessive music. And what we've also, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at my representation, but on one of the nights when officers were carrying observations, there was a female approaching the premises. She stood there for a few minutes, made a phone call, and someone came in and opened the shutters for her to get inside the premises. Music was excessively loud, and then on the second occasion, the shutters were open. Officers still heard music, but they didn't see any people standing outside the premises. Just give me 1 second. With regards to the applicant's statement about the CCTV footage and her sending me a copy of the CCTV footage, just want to advise the committee that I have contacted the applicant on Tuesday and have requested I emailed the applicant on Tuesday and I have requested for our officers to go to the premises and view the CCTV footage. I didn't get a response, therefore I followed it up with a phone call, and I contacted the applicant on Wednesday when she advised me that she's not feeling well and she's not in Harrow at the moment because she's away for her brother's wedding, and that she was not able to accommodate my request with regards to one of our officers or 2 officers attending to view the CCTV footage. I appreciate her statement that she sent me maybe just over a minute of footage. I appreciate that, but I would have been more satisfied if our officers would have attended the premises and viewed the CCTV footage in person and be able to understand more and for a longer period of time and understand what happened on those nights and not just have a snippet of a few minutes. It doesn't really give me an idea of what exactly happened on those nights. I appreciate that she was not able to accommodate our request to attend the premises. And I am a bit confused by her statement earlier that she said that this party, this 10, is for her brother's stag do. When I spoke with her on Tuesday, said she's away for her brother's wedding. Just give me one. My other concern was with regards to interviewing bar staff, and what we've seen, people that person arriving at 11 p.m. at night. With regards to the music, they don't have a premises license. As I said earlier, the Live Music Act does not apply to this. It doesn't mean that they play music until 11 p.m. They're not selling, as they don't have a premises license at all. Sorry, I just made a couple of notes that I'm trying to find. When I spoke with the applicant previously for the previous 10s, not this 10, I've made some inquiries and I asked what this venue is going to be, and she advised that this venue is going to be for it's a members club for the Asian community. That was the response that I got regarding this venue. My other concern is with regards to the noise testing. I don't think it was appropriate to carry out noise testing every single day, and not on those days when we've objected to those temporary event notices. Or at least they could have contacted and said, look, we want to carry out these noise testing. We have concern that we might cause a problem. As I said, I do have concerns regarding this. I don't think they should have been carried out on the days when we've objected to those specific 10s. It would have been helpful if they would have contacted us instead of trying to do this. And when I spoke with the applicant before, they said that we should have just knocked on the door. They said on one occasion when officers attended, the shutters were closed. It's just the music was excessively loud, audible on the Broadway. I think that's all from me. As I said, these are my concerns, and I'm be concerned that it will cause a nuisance to nearby residents. And I have spoken with some neighbours. I know the applicant mentioned earlier, but I have spoken, and some neighbours approached me regarding some nearby residents approached me regarding this premises license application, and they do have concerns with being open so late. There might not be the same residents as applicant approach, but as I said, I do have, and there are residents within very close proximity that they could be disturbed. And at this stage, I'm not satisfied that the applicant, from all the things I have raised earlier, I'm not satisfied that the applicant will comply with. Just I think would undermine the objective of preventing public nuisance. That's all from me. Thank you, Chair.
Ms. Eilingai, you'll get an opportunity to respond to all of that. So don't just hold on to those thoughts. At this point, I'll ask if councillors Ball, Backlini, well, Councillor Ball was quicker to the mark. So, Councillor Ball, do you have questions for Ms. Stupu?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'm just wanting a bit of clarification about why the previous 10s applications were considered inappropriate. I mean, you mentioned that there were multiple days, but ordinarily, if it's an applicant with a good previous record and it's a location like this, which is not, it's a small location in a basement without a lot of residents nearby, it would sort of seem to be the sort of thing where there would be a kind of a bit of a presumption in favour of granting 10s, wouldn't it?
I'm not sure if you're familiar with the area, but there are quite a lot of residents nearby that within a few meters. They live directly above and I can't disclose exactly the exact details of the residents that have approached us regarding this premises license, and also regarding the planning permission. There are residents have objected to this, to the planning permission. The same residents have objected to the planning permission. Going back to the tents, those tents were 6 days tents until, I can't recall, I would say 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I can't recall that. I'm not able to look it up right now, the old tents, but it would, until the early hours of the morning. We had concerns. This is and you mentioned about the history. This is a new premises. We've never had to deal with this applicant. This is the first time. So she didn't apply for a premises license. What she did, she applied for a 6-day 10, and we had concerns if that 10 goes ahead. And what the licensing team have advised the applicant, which I'm aware, they advised her to apply for a 1-day event and not 6 days. When I spoke with the applicant previously, she blamed the agent that she used, and I said, I appreciate that you're blaming the agent, but I had to object to the 10 because I don't know what exactly is going. It was very unclear. And also there are issues with the capacity. When I looked at the planning permission and when I contacted the planning team, they advised me that the capacity was our venue was 35 max, including staff. The temporary event notice was for 50 people. It's a very small venue, and I had concerns for a temporary event notice for 50 people, where the application that it was submitted for the planning department, it was for 35 max. So there were a few concerns regarding this. That's why we had to object to both late. They were both late 10. So one was for the 21st till the 27th of March, and the other one was from the 29th of March till 3rd of April. As you can appreciate, it's a 6-day event. If something goes wrong on the first night, we cannot stop it. They will go every single night.
Okay, Councillor Boyd,
That's the
do you
main.
want to follow up? Supplement?
Yes, a bit. I mean, just firstly to clarify, when I was talking about the applicant's sort of good record, I'm talking about in Harrow. I mean, what I mean is, it's, you know, an applicant that has previously held licenses and so on. So rather than a kind of unknown quantity.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess the so yeah, did you so yeah, if you were advising her to come with shorter 10s, and then she has now come with 2-day 10s, I guess is your objection to this one kind of entirely on the basis of what your officers found on those 2 days of the music being played there? Is that's basically your sole objection, is it?
Correctly, yes, that's correct. Because as I said in my representation, after those 10s, and this is standard practice, whenever we object to late 10, we carried observations to make sure that the applicant is not going ahead with the event. And we've carried out those observations, and we found that the music was excessively loud. And I said, it was our officers will take the time. They spend half an hour, 40 minutes on site to make sure they capture what's going on, what exactly. And that's the concern. If you're carrying out a noise test, you wouldn't carry out for more than a few minutes, 5-10 minutes. Why would you want to cause a disturbance to nearby residents? And as I said, the music was excessively loud. It was audible on the Broadway. And I don't know if you know where the premises is. It's quite sad. I actually tried to measure it earlier, but my mapping system wouldn't work. So I tried to measure the distance between the door and the footpath. It's got a bit of a distance, and that's, yeah, as I said, it's concerning that the music was so excessively audible on those days that they were not supposed to be operating.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Councillor Bacchini.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, Mimi, I just wanted to ask, in regards to the neighbours who were dissatisfied with the noise when you approached them. I see from your report that you did not actually include or mention about the neighbors' objection. But have you told the neighbors that they could object? They could get a representation here today.
They've objected to the planning
Yes,
planning permission.
this is different. This is
Yeah, of course.
licensing hearing.
Of course. They're aware of this event. I don't know if they. Yeah, I guess they didn't object. They're aware of this temporary event notice.
Okay, and
If I could just-
They are aware. They're also aware of. Sorry to interrupt. They're also aware of the premises license application, which is I think the the expiration date is end of the month
thank
for
you.
the representations.
Okay, so there is a live.
There's a live premises license application, correct?
Indeed, there is. Okay.
Chair,
So-
can I just say that residents wouldn't be able to object to a TENS.
That's
It's
right.
only noise nuisance and the police. Just to clarify that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, they have no way of knowing about a TENS, so that's the. I think can councillors object? Alison?
No, Chair, it's just the responsible authorities.
Fine. So yeah. Okay. So I'm just conscious now. I don't have any questions to Mimi, and I want to try and wrap, so to speak. Come to as much time as you need, but I don't want us to repeat stuff. So if I go to Councillor Gallant, and then Bianca, if you'd like to sort of finish up, and you can respond to all those things in your summing up is the word I'm looking for. So Julian, Councillor Gallant.
Thank you, Chair. Am I allowed to ask Mimi Stupa a question? Is that okay?
I guess you can, yes, sir.
Can I just check? Just establish that you received on when the officers went to inspect, you did eventually receive date stamp video which showed that there were no guests in the venue, and you received that that time stamped video to show that there were no guests in the venue and that there was no actual event proceeding.
There was a very brief video, both as the standard procedure when it comes to us viewing CCTV footage, it would be to attend in person. As I said earlier, I would have been more satisfied if the officers would have attended and viewed that CCTV footage in the premises instead of receiving it. That's, yeah.
I think it's fair to say to Mimi that CCTV footage has limited context unless you're actually
correct
in the place
there. Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. If I show you some CCTV, unless you are in a premise, it's like any other CCTV. You can't really. So I think that sort of.
You can't get a picture from a snippet of just 90 seconds, and
you can get.
It might have a day-to-day.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what will be looked at. So it will always be looked at after any event. So
yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So yes. So Councillor Gallant, did you want to as witness for the applicants sum up, please?
Yep. Thank you very much, Chair. Yes. I go back to I'm glad that Bianca's been able to have a chance to show, and I'm glad that Mimi also has a chance to air her concerns. But I come back to the same basic point I made, that Bianca has got a very, very good track record where she comes from. When she's asked questions, she answers them absolutely directly, and she shows to me that she's absolutely capable of managing such an event. and managing a late night clientele as well. And that and not just manages, she will preempt issues arising and meet that. And I'm firmly convinced that she's quite capable of managing it, controlling the amount of noise outside the venue and controlling the clientele as well. So I'll finish on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Gallant. Is Alan Kai? This is I mean, we can let you in again if you need to, but this is your opportunity to respond to anything that's been raised and to sum up before we go away and just consider.
Yes, I would like to clarify, first of all, the 2 tents that have been rejected. I think that all of you are quite familiar with Mr. Panchal. Mr. Panchal used to be my agent, which I have instructed and paid back in November to apply for the premises license. Now, Mr. Panchal has not done so until he applied for the 2 tens, the late tens. I have clearly instructed Mr. Panchal and told him exactly that our maximum number of people at one time would be 35 people, including staff. I've never said to him about live music, and I certainly not said to him to apply for 11 days in a row. Now, he has done so. I haven't even had the chance or opportunity to see these applications before they were submitted. And Mr. Gallant is here. He can confirm everything I'm saying, because I've instructed and authorized Mr. Gallant to ask for a copy of the tents that were submitted on my behalf. We still haven't had any response or any copies of those late tents that were submitted. I have a question for Miss Mimi, if possible, please.
Okay, but I don't want to get into too much of a V or V. Yes, go ahead.
During the site visit, has there been any actual proof that I was indeed doing any licensable activities? Or is there any proof that I had people inside the premise? Or is just this a speculation? And one more thing, from the doorway to the high street, I've counted it myself, there are 6 steps.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm not going to take that as a question, Mimi. I don't think you need to respond. You've spoken to the times of being there. You've given us the evidence that you've given us, and it's for us to consider whether it's proof or not. So
I agree. As you said,
it's a good question. It's a good question, but I don't think it, I don't think it's fair to Miss Stipu to, the answer is that's for us to consider. We've been given the evidence. Whether it's proof is for us to determine, and what we do with that is for us to determine. So yeah, so keep if you'd like to continue your summing up, Ms. Adenkei.
Yes, as I've said before, I think everyone deserves a chance to prove, especially when I know I have a clean record. My record is impeccable with Harrow Council. Everything I have stated can be easily checked with Harrow Council. I have been a DPS, a premises license holder. I have a personal license as well since 2018. I've worked in many clubs, pubs, restaurants, nightclubs. So I understand how to promote the licensing objectives. And I consider I have done nothing wrong for me to deserve another objection that will not allow me to go through with this application. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't believe that's everything now. Alison, have we covered everything?
Yes, I think so, Chair.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that you're very kind. I've got 10:49. Oh, sorry, 11:49. One of my devices hasn't changed its clock. It's 11:49. I would anticipate that we're back promptly at 12:30. So if everybody wants to return to this room, you'll be allowed back in the room from 12:25. But obviously the panel reserves its right to take longer should we need to. But thank you very much. I'll see you all back here